Hey, this is Arthur Robinson Jr. I'm the creator of PowerfulInterviews.com. I am the creator of Audio Secrets Training Event.com. I want to welcome each and every one of you to this phenomenal video. In this interview, you're going to experience life-changing information that you will not find anywhere else. I have secured an incredible interview with a great friend of mine, international speaker, a successful businessman, the multi-millionaire, Victor Young. Victor Young has been in the automotive industry for over 24 years, and in this interview, you're going to hear exclusively on how he actually built his brand from scratch. He is the president and the co-owner of Lamborghini Sarasota, BMW Sarasota, and Lotus of Sarasota. So in this interview, you're going to hear exclusively on how Victor Young actually built his multi-million-dollar brand. Also in this interview, Victor Young, he breaks down layman's terms about how business owners can actually build a blueprint by the $1 million plan. Also in this interview, Victor Young, he breaks down layman's terms on how you can actually build your own media company. And from one of his films, he basically got a $6 million production value from one of his films. That is phenomenal. In this interview, he's going to break down layman's terms on how you can actually follow the same blueprint. Also in this interview, Mr. Victor Young, he breaks down layman's terms about follow your passion and much, much more. So remember, this is not BS information. The right information will change your situation. Wealthy people take advice from other wealthy people, and unfortunately, broke people take advice from broke people. But I love what the multi-billionaire, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks says, Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban says, start your business now and build your business right now. So when you start in your business, it's not going to be easy, but it'll be very beneficial for you and your family. So right about now, go get your pen and your pad, sit back and relax and write down some notes. In this interview that I'm going to reveal to each and every one of you with my great friend, international speaker, successful businessman, the multi-millionaire, Victor Young. This interview, it will change your life. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So, check it out.
Today, I have a wonderful person on the show, and he's a great friend of mine. His name is Victor Young. And for those that don't know Victor, let me explain to each and every one of you about this incredible, phenomenal man. Victor Young is currently the president and co-owner of Lamborghini Sarasota, BMW of Sarasota, Lotus of Sarasota, Range Rover, Ocala, and Jaguar Ocala. He is also the founder and CEO of Human Technology Solutions, Media and Management Global, and Victor Young Productions. Victor has spent over 23 years in the automotive industry after starting a career in radio and television in 1989. He moved up the corporate ladder within several nationwide public automotive groups, including AutoNation, the largest public auto group in America, and also he is the Daily Life Coach, and that is an awesome, impressive resume. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome the one, the only, the powerful Victor Young to the show.
Good afternoon. That was an impressive opening there, and wow, you made me sound incredible.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Victor, for taking time out of your busy schedule to educate me and the listeners worldwide about building wealth. I gladly appreciate it.
My pleasure, Arthur.
To everyone that's listening on the show, I highly recommend go and get your pen and your pad right now. My great friend Victor Young is going to break down layman's terms on how you can build unlimited wealth. Is that correct, Victor?
That is correct. Correct. We're going to work on that today.
Now, what I'd like to know, and can you explain to the listeners in layman's terms, who is the powerful Victor Young? How long you been in your powerful industry, and what is your expertise?
Well, my expertise is, I think, making things simple. It's been a knack of mine since I was a kid. Reverse engineering processes, systems, and cash flow, you name it. If there's a problem, if there's an opportunity, I like to take it apart, check all the pieces, and put it back together so it works better. So it's kind of like looking at a business like making a watch.
Now, I've seen a powerful video that you were in, and you was breaking down layman's terms about 7 figures, 8 figures, and 9 figures. So you was talking about nervous money, you was talking about crush you like a bug money, and then you was talking about deep money. Can you explain that to the listeners in regards to what's the difference between 7, 8, or 9 figures and above?
Absolutely. 7 figures, obviously, is when you move into that segment where you're worth $1 million plus. So that's where the term 7 figures comes from. And, when you get in that category, in that segment where you're worth 7 figures, so you're worth anywhere from $1 million to $9,999,099.99. I mean, that's basically puts you in a 7-figure category. And when you're there, it's a dangerous place to be if you're looking to sustain or to live a decent lifestyle and to stay out of harm's way, per se. You're on the radar to the point where people know who you are. They see you as a successful person, and they may think your cash flow and your money is unlimited, and it's not at that point. And you normally do business with individuals with a lot more money than you at that point. So it can be dangerous trying to keep up with your end of the bargain, per se, with keeping your side of the deal funded with someone who's got a lot deeper pockets than you, trying to to play ball in that new area of with the IRS that you just stepped into that arena, and trying to fend off all the people who think you've got more than you have that are coming at you from every side because it's going to occur. So that's why I kind of consider that as nervous money when you're in that range, because you can see the end of where that money could actually end on you. And frankly, when you've worked that hard, you don't want it to end. You want to stay in that position and move forward. So it can create some anxiety just trying to maintain your existence in that space.
Wow. Now, what would you say would be the actual blueprint for entrepreneurs that are listening right now where they wanted to experience that deep money, where they are generating $100 million and above?
That's definitely deep money. And the way that you live and the way that you can sustain wealth, and most importantly, for me, it's not just about creating wealth. It's about creating legacy. And frankly, if you've got a few $1 million in your pocket, and by the time you pay some death taxes and you scatter around a little bit of real estate here and there, a couple cars, a watch or two, it's pretty much gone and you're forgotten. It can liquidate fairly quick. When you move into that arena, into that realm where you have individuals, agencies, organizations, charities, businesses, irrevocable trust, when you can actually fund organizations for decades after you've expired and passed and moved on, that to me it's a whole other level of wealth. And that's when you know someone has kind of done it right, when they're remembered 50, 100 years from now, their impact is still left. That to me is when you're in that deep money.
So in order for you to generate deep money, you have to have systems and the right teams to help you build your dream?
Absolutely. You have to have a team of individuals around you, number one, that are like-minded, that believe and support what you do, and their initiatives are the same. And so there was an old saying that my dad used to always bring up to me when I was younger, and it was, show me who you're with, and I'll show you who you are. And that just says, to me, it was, if you're around people that don't believe in what you do, that aren't going to be supportive, you're probably not going to get there, so you need to make a choice. And not to say that everyone in our circle has to be flawless or perfect or wealthy, because there's always There's always friends and family that we may enjoy their company. There's great things about them, and making money and wealth just isn't their strong point. However, in the professional arena, we have to be very careful of who we surround ourselves with, because it will either slow us down because we're dragging weight behind us, or we pick someone that's too far ahead of us, and it can actually lower our vision to the point where we're looking so far ahead we can't see the opportunities right in front of us. So there's this balance. And I actually wrote a blog a while back called The Rule of Five, and it talked about if you're one of the people in this group of five, you want to be number 3 in the middle. You always want these 2 young guns, these men or women that are beneath you, but they're pushing you every day to stay ahead, but you're also keeping yourself sharp by investing in them and bringing them to the next level. But you also want those 2 people who are ahead of you, who are doing better than you, are already doing the things you want to do and being in the places you want to be, so that you have that aspiration on the other end. So there's a push and a pull that creates this environment of success. And it's very important to be able to establish those things. And every now and again, someone may fall off your bottom 2. Or they may pass you if you're not careful and become one of your top 2. But that rule of 5 is just a good foundation for you to be able to measure and benchmark yourself against other like-minded, positive people.
So who you spend time with and who you listen to, that's who you're going to become?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head.
Wow.
Sounds like you've done this before, Arthur.
Well, I interview successful people all over the world, and I love really getting into the mindsets of successful entrepreneurs, because that energy rubs off on you.
Absolutely.
Now, Victor, you are very successful as an entrepreneur, and I know you built a lot of great relationships all over the world. Can you explain to the listeners what is the best advice that you have ever received?
Wow. I've received a ton of great advice, and I have had the pleasure and honor of watching over time some really great men and women who are phenomenal entrepreneurs. And a few of the things that really stand out for me, one is we're all the same. Success, no matter if you're in Asia or Europe, Australia, the U.S., it doesn't matter where you're at. Success has the same characteristics, and good success. And you've got to be hungry, and you can't accept no for an answer. Everything I look at, I ask myself, why can't I do it? And if I can't find a reason that it's just, really a large and a real, actual economic, environmental reason that is not going to work, then I'm going to assume I can do it. And so I'll go out at that point, and I will find everyone else who believes it can be done, who wants it to be done, and it will be done. And so, but if it's something that there's a really, really tried and true reason, a measurable reason that it can't be done, I make sure I don't try to create battles or fight battles that I'm going to lose. I look for the wins, and I look for the winners who can make those wins happen. And I've seen that, I've been told that, I've experienced it, and I watch great people put together incredible teams, and you'll see a CEO go from automotive to aerospace to manufacturing and logistics, and this guy didn't go to college and get a PhD in all these different subject matter. He just didn't. But the principles of business allow you to transition into any industry, on any continent on the planet, any country, with any race, culture, creed, socioeconomic background of people, as long as you understand the core principles of entrepreneurship and putting together a great team of individuals around you.
Now, you said that entrepreneurs have to understand entrepreneurship. And I see that you are the co-owner of Lamborghini Sarasota. What will actually be the formula for entrepreneurs and business owners that want to get involved into the automotive industry by being a Lamborghini dealership owner?
You know, first off, I've got to say I've got an incredible business partner. His name is Larry Morgan, and I've got the rock star of business partners. And we've got an incredible relationship because, frankly, when the opportunity for Lamborghini came along, it came along during the recession. It was December of 2008, and the automobile industry was in a tailspin. And so ultra luxury and premium products at the time, it was just everyone was taking it off their list due to downsizing, layoffs, terminations, pay cuts. It just wasn't the place. It wasn't the segment to be in. It was that segment that had been untouchable for, decades. And all of a sudden, it was the most volatile, segment in consumer retail. So, in order to pull this off, and when we started our talks, and I started my talks with Lamborghini, it was a 100% relationship deal because I met with Lamborghini and we just really hit it off. That's a whole long story that I'll tell you about later, but they actually sought me out and vetted me and then approached me, and they flew from Italy. We met in Miami, and we had this incredible sit down, and literally in a matter of hours, I'm shaking the CEO of Lamborghini Automobile's hands from Italy and his team, and I was a Lamborghini dealer. But then I had to come back and make this happen. And so in the middle of the recession, everybody thought I was absolutely insane. Are you kidding me? Lamborghini in 2008 and 2009, you're crazy. So I went back to my business partner, and this is where relationship, this is where trust, this is where knowing an individual that's in that rule of five circle that you establish comes into play. The conversation was this. We talked about it. We talked about the timing. We talked about the brand. And he asked me a simple question. Do you think it'll work? Can you make money? Can we make money and get our investment back? I said, absolutely yes. And we moved forward in the middle of the recession, and we made it happen. And we made our investment back, and the store's doing great right now. Without that type of trust, relationship, and ability to understand each other and say, I believe you when I look in your eyes and you tell me it's going to happen, I'm with you and let's go to war together. Without that, you're going to miss a lot in life, and you need those types of partnerships and relationships.
So once people like you, respect you, and trust you, that's when their minds are made up and they want to invest in you because you are the brand?
Absolutely. When bankers give loans, it's not always about the best business plan. I see people that try to cross every T and dot every I, and I'm not saying the business plan is not important. Every business without a business plan and an attorney to set up to structure the business up front is, in my opinion, is asking for trouble. However, when bankers and investors look at a business and the structure of it, the structure is that's just something they expect to be in place. They expect you to have a business plan. They expect you to have structure. They expect you to have a decent product. It doesn't have to be the best product. It's got to be average or better. What really comes into play is they're looking at the individual and that person's ability and their wherewithal and their power to be able to hit the street and make it happen and sell it, service it, distribute it, whatever needs to be done. They're looking at the individual on the other end, and that is how they make their decisions. I've been a part of deals where the deals went down up until the day of wire transfers with no credit applications, no agreements, operating agreements. Everything happened the day of the deal, the day of the closing, because everyone had a trust and everyone knew that everyone that's involved in this project are all superstars. They're all winners, and it's going to happen. You look at the Silicon Valley Mafia, the nickname that they, received. It's the guys that created 20 different .coms that are all making money, the Ubers and the PayPals. And these guys are all worked together at some point and started together. And they created a dynasty, a .com dynasty. That's what teams of powerful entrepreneurs do together.
So basically, you brainstorm with your partners at the Lamborghini establishment, and they've seen a lot of value in Victor Young, so basically they want you to come on board.
Well, absolutely. It's like this. You bring a deal to the table. Here's the deal. Here's your partner or your investors, whether it's a single investor or whether it's multiple partners. In this situation, it was just me and my one partner. And when you have a track record that people know, okay, Victor's conservative, so I know he's not going to get out on his emotions and want to do a deal based on his emotions. It's always got to make sense financially. I know he's an operator. I know he's able to build leaders. I know he's able to do great recruiting. I know he's got a network that has Lamborghini buyers currently in the network. We don't have to go and find these buyers. We don't have to go find these potential prospects. When all the ingredients are there and they see that you have the ingredients to bake the cake, it doesn't take a lot of risk at that point to hit the oven for the switch and let's just turn the oven on and make this cake. But when you bring deals that are loose, they don't have an end user attached. You haven't really identified your marketplace. You haven't really, put the team together yet. An idea is worthless in the world of entrepreneurship and investment. There's not a name or a slogan or an idea that's worth anything until you actually bring it to the market or you've got the team in place to make it happen. And that's where deals are made. I hear about people all the time. They're terrified to mention their idea because it's so good that someone's going to steal it. You can change it 1 degree, change it, call it something different, and do it different, and put the right team together and blow right by them in an hour. So you can't be afraid to put your idea out there. I mean, I'm not saying don't copyright and trademark it. Get it done.
That's true.
But at the same time, move it forward.
You said ideas are basically worthless. So would you say that ideas are the real capital of real wealth?
Well, I'll tell you this, and I'm a dreamer, I'm a visionary. So when I say ideas, visions, dreams, and ideas and visions are different. They're all different. They're in different states of work. So for me, an idea means, let's flip over to my film side for a second. I've got a great idea for a screenplay, for comedy, or for a documentary. And I walk around with my idea, and everyone I tell my idea to, they say, oh, my gosh, that's the best documentary. I would go see that movie. It's incredible. 5 years later, I'm still telling people about it, and they're just in love with it. And I'm just having this love affair with my idea. And then 6 months later, it's on HBO, or it's at the box office, and someone's making money on it. How much is it worth? It's worth nothing now. And so that's why I say when people think of something, think about it. And I was in a producer school, and one of the things I learned was the true definition of a producer is the individual who can have multiple projects and various stages of work. Meaning you got to be able to juggle some ideas because sometimes they're going to stall. Sometimes you're going to be missing an ingredient. You're going to be missing a player that to make it go. You're going to be missing something, and then all of a sudden it hits, and they move, and they stop, and they move. It's an ebb and flow of the speed of business and how things develop organically. And that's how individuals are able to manage multiple projects and find successful people, is because they understand the flow and the ebb of business and how it comes together and how it develops. But you have to move forward.
You are experiencing a life-changing, powerful interview, and you are hearing it first from Arthur Robinson Jr.'s PowerfulInterviews.com.
Now, you mentioned about your film company, Victor Young Productions, and I've seen a powerful video that you were in, and you was explaining to Grant Cardone about one of your films got a $6 million production value. Can you explain to the listeners what is the process of how one of your phenomenal films can get a $6 million production value?
Here's what that means. And again, it goes back to network. My production company, which is Victor Young Productions and Media Management Global, in this particular situation for this film, it was Victor Young Productions. And there was another individual by the name of Todd Yontek, who also owns a production company, and it's called Digital Caviar. And we had been shooting projects separately and individually, but never together. And so we had a meeting and just, decided that one day we wanted to work together. And one day we would put our resources together. And both of us had great reputations for production and creating content. And so we decided, we found a script with a young writer-director, and we were going to produce this movie. And so we called all of our resources. We brought in all of our technology. We shot this film for a lot less. I mean, we shot it for hundreds of thousands, and it got a production value appraisal of $6 million based upon bringing all these individuals together in the industry that knew of both of us, and they all said, I want to be a part of this project. It's going to be incredible. These two guys are great. We love what they stand for. And the attraction that we had for the talent that we brought on board it just far exceeded the budget. If we would have had to have shot the film with the talent, the resources and technology that came on board for, pennies on the dollars just to be able to have the experience to work on this team, we couldn't have shot the film. We couldn't have afforded to shoot the film, but we had to pay everyone and everything.
Is the film industry, is that a tough business?
You know what? Once you learn that it's 90% business and 10% show, and so when you hear that show business term, I think it's 90 business and 10 show. You really have to have the business side covered, because the artist, and this is how the business gets difficult. Most of the time you have producers or directors or writers who try to make films, and they don't understand a budget. And so if they've never ran a company before, they just realize that when I go over budget, my boss slaps my hand or screams at me, then he writes me another check. Or my mom gives me more money, or my dad cashes in his 401k. And so that's their understanding of a budget. But when you're the boss and you go raise capital, it's a finite dollar amount. And when you break budget, it's done. And so they fall in love with the creative process, and they keep spending their money, and they keep spending their money, and they spend their money until that money is gone. And once that occurs, a lot of films never make it into distribution. They're never seen by anyone. It's kind of a nightmare of what occurs based upon the fact they're not able to, bills aren't paid. I mean, there's so many producers, directors, writers that by the time they finish a project, their name has been drugged through the mud so bad that they can never pull off another project. And so the key is to be able to pull out the best project you can on a timeline that's on time with the highest production quality and value you can get, and live to see another day and bring another one. And once you're able to create this momentum and you create this, again, it goes back to this team of actors and writers and directors and first ADs and lighting grips and key grips and editors that all say, he keeps me busy. They're professionals. They finish projects. I see my work on television or video on demand or at theaters. They believe in you, and that's how you create the synergy and relationships needed to be successful in that industry. And without those relationships and without those people who get it and without those people who want to work with you, it can become very difficult for you to make movies, make money, and you can really drag your name through the mud, and a lot of other people as well. And again, going back to one of those quotes, my dad used to tell me was, your word is your bond, and your name is so powerful. He would always tell me, once you destroy your name in the business world, it's a small world. It will travel around the globe on you with internet and technology these days. So anything you touch, you gotta finish it, even if you make no money. I've done projects where I've made $0, but my name was up, and I protected my name, and I made sure the bills got paid. And I even lost money on deals to make sure everyone got paid, the project was completed, and my name and my reputation stayed intact.
So whatever you start, you have to finish the project.
Absolutely. Once you bring another dollar from another individual into play,